September 11th was a tragic day for people as a society. Not only were lives lost, we also lost our economic stability, and it threw our thriving aviation industry into a bankrupt tailspin. The days after September 11th are still hurting the aviation industry. Major American carriers have been trying to maintain safety while maintaining profitability ever since September 11th. At 8:46 a.m., American Airlines Flight 11 collided with the North Tower of the World Trade Center complex. Just before the plane hit, New York air traffic controllers watched in peril as it slammed into the building. At this point, controllers were in all confusion of how an airplane could crash into a building on a perfectly clear day.
The morning the 9/11 occurred, I was at home getting ready to come out to the airport, and we were watching the Good Morning America show while they were talking. That you could see in the background the first airplane strike the World Trade Center. At first I thought it was a major accident. However, when the second one hit, I knew for a fact, having been involved in wartime environments from when I was in Vietnam, I knew that there's something more serious going on here.
It was clear that at 9:02 a.m. that the United States was being attacked. At 9:26 a.m., Federal Aviation Administrator Jane Garvey enacted Part 99 of the Federal Aviation Regulations that grants her to create an Air Defense Identification Zone. This zone requires special requirements by pilots and air traffic control that are known as emergency rules. In this undertaking, she banned all civil aircraft and most military traffic. This meant that the United States airspace was closed for business, the first time ever since flight was invented in 1903.
I had a feeling they were going to do something wrong. I mean, going to do something with the airspace system, because they found that the airplanes were being hijacked. And so soon after that, late in the day, they gave us a message that all aircraft would be grounded. And the irony of that is I had just started up a brand new flight training center out at St. Clair County Airport. And effectively, after 5 weeks of flight training in this new business, I was shut down for another 5 weeks until they decided to open up the airspace again.
In the next few hours, air traffic controllers would start landing all 4,452 planes over our nation's skies. International traffic arriving to the United States was waved off. 239 international aircraft that were past the point of no return were forced to land in Canada, and a great deal of those aircraft were landed in Gander and Halifax.
We certainly expected that there would be other restrictions, and indeed there were. There for a long time we could not take any new students that didn't have some kind of identification positively. They had to be U.S. citizens. Any foreign students, we had to get their passport, initiate them through a screening process to make sure that they indeed had a legitimate reason to be taking flying lessons. The whole thing affected us by limiting what used to be a very free and open training business was now restricted to certain people who could definitely establish that they had a business to be at the airport and taking flying lessons. When the airspace was finally opened up 5 weeks later, it was very restricted. We had certain areas that we could fly into. Other areas, any control tower at the airport required us to have positive identification. We had to make sure that anybody who came out to the airport was someone who had some vested interest in being on the field. Our airplanes were monitored the whole time, watching to see who's going and coming. Very strong security. They thought that the perpetrators of this evil thing had other ideas of taking smaller airplanes and striking other strategic targets. They're fearing that they would do government buildings, take small planes and load them with explosives and that kind of thing. So we all were very diligent about watching what was going on.
6 years after the attack on American soil, United States aviation is still trying to recover from the blow it received from 9/11. Though the airspace is now open, security changes that took place after 9/11 will affect aviation forever. There has been a big change since the beginning of flight 104 years ago.